I'm Laura Painter. We start tonight back home with the latest on the mosquito fire burning right now with no containment in sight. Heartbreak today as confirmation that several homes have been destroyed in the Michigan Bluff area. This as the fire has now burned into El Dorado County. More than 8,000 acres burned and several communities evacuated. ABC 10's Kurt Rivera has been on the front lines today and is live right now in Foresthill with more. Kurt.
Laura, we're along Foresthill Road, and behind me, a large plume of smoke continues to grow in size. I'm going to step aside now so you can take a good look. CAL FIRE says the fire is burning both west towards Foresthill here and in a northeasterly direction. And as you mentioned moments ago, it has now jumped the American River in the southern portion of the fire zone towards Volcanoville. But sadly, some damage has already been done. While this flag and its pole still stand, the house it welcomed visitors to destroyed. One home after another on a stretch of Michigan Bluff Road could not withstand the powerful force of this out-of-control wildfire. Right along Michigan Bluff Road, you can see to the right of me this property. The home completely leveled. It's gone. And then I'm counting 1, 2, 3, about a dozen cars completely destroyed. But not all has been lost, thanks to the heroic help of firefighters.
There's still a lot of homes standing, so our engines are tasked with driving around the area and making sure there's no rekindle issues and putting out fires near these structures that are still standing.
From above, planes carrying retardant have helped to stop or slow the progress of the fire. On the ground, dozers are creating fire breaks. And firefighters with chainsaws continue to clear burned trees close to homes. Off nearby Chicken Hawk Road, fire crews created a fire break and kept a watchful eye, making sure the fire doesn't jump the line of protection. Meanwhile, at a Red Cross evacuation center at Bell Road Baptist Church in Auburn, all David Hance can do is rest and wait with his dog Amigo.
I'm holding up, but just, getting what I need and laying out and passing the time, hoping there's news.
Derek Jones has lived in Foresthill 7 years and hopes when it's all over, his RV will still be standing.
Everybody's just distraught because we don't know. They're saying a couple more days before we can go back up there, and we don't know nothing about our homes yet. And back live now, you can see again the large plume of smoke just east of where we are at here in Foresthill, and it appears to be getting closer. Unfortunately, CAL FIRE planes have been hitting this fire hard while we've been standing here. And what makes this firefight so difficult, extreme heat, dry conditions, and very, very steep terrain. We're live in Foresthill. Back to you.
Yeah, Kurt, those charred images, never easy to see. We certainly hope that everyone and yourself stays safe out there. Again, that fire is not yet contained. Now, with the mosquito fire growing in Placer County and El Dorado County, so does the smoke in the surrounding area. ABC 10 meteorologist Brendan Minchef spent the day in the foothills to see how people are dealing with the bad air.
Good evening. I'm up here in Newcastle. I spent a little time in Auburn earlier as well. As soon as I stepped out of the car, the smoke hits you, right? But it's not as bad as it was earlier this morning. I talked to a couple of people off camera. They didn't want to be on camera. One gentleman told me that it's unfortunate, but all things considered, he'll bear it. Another woman told me that around 9 a.m. this morning, it was, quote, like living on the coast. It was so dense with all the smoke in the area, and visibility was horrible, and obviously air quality was just as horrible as well. Now, one man, Gary, that I talked to in Auburn, he echoed really the same sentiment. Here's what he had to say.
It's not that bad. I thought it'd be worse than this because of the fires just right up the road.
But I also spoke to somebody who lives here in Newcastle, but her family is only a few miles from the fire on Foresthill. Here's what she had to say.
This is definitely more scary just because I have family and friends that have already had to evacuate by emergency, and their houses have already burnt down.
And obviously we're hoping everything works out all right for her and her family. But in terms of the foothills near Auburn, near Newcastle, yeah, it smells like smoke this afternoon. It's bearable. It's not great to be breathing it in like this, but it gets way worse in the mornings and in the evenings. And so the sentiment is life just kind of goes on right now. According to residents, and they're keeping their fingers crossed that things get better pretty soon. Reporting in Newcastle, Brendan Minchef for ABC 10. Back to you.
Yeah, thanks, Brendan. We bring in now meteorologist Carly Gomez. What is the air condition looking right now, the air quality?
Right. So as Brendan mentioned, Newcastle area is looking a little better. And what we're seeing is that shift there and that movement with a lot of that bad air quality shifting to the northeast. You can see a lot of those areas pushing up towards South Lake Tahoe right now with very unhealthy air quality. That maroon shade closer to the fire there, hazardous air. And then further south, a lot of that's been moving toward the foothill areas south of the fire. And you are looking at unhealthy air quality in the foothills. A lot of that settling there and expected to do so in the overnight hours, as we will see the shift in winds moving from the mountains back down toward the valley through the overnight hours. And just take a look at this. This is what we expect to happen. We're currently seeing the movement toward the east, which is good for areas of the valley currently, but it's not going to last much longer. We are going to start seeing a lot of that pushing right back down. Areas even like Yuba City could begin to see that. Roseville areas are going to expect to see more of the thicker smoke later on into the early morning hours, eventually pushing right back out by tomorrow afternoon. But of course, tomorrow, another very hot day ahead. Now we're seeing winds right now right around 7 to 10 miles per hour in the area. But of course, that fire is creating its own erratic behavior, and the humidity is down to about 10%. In the Gilmore backyard, it's nice, but it's very hot outside. About 111 right now in Sacramento, 110 in Stockton, 107 in Modesto, with 111 in Marysville. We'll talk more about record-breaking heat coming up.
Carly, thank you. Meanwhile, the state is under a flex alert right now until 10 p.m. This is the 9th day in a row Californians are being asked to cut down on energy use during this heat wave. You can help by setting your thermostat to 78 degrees or higher. Avoid using major appliances and turning off unnecessary lights.